Hey guys, we are back
Hello.
and we are tackling one letter, but we're gonna cover 3 words with this one letter. Look at that. The letter
W.
W.
We're almost done with the alphabet. What are we going to do?
No, no. For now, let's do this video.
W, what are we going to do
What
next?
are we gonna do? So W, and we're gonna cover 3 words with the word W. Look at that. Some what's that?
I don't know.
Visual.
3 points, 1, 2, 3, W. We're just weird, is what we are.
Weird.
The word should be weird, honey.
Okay.
Wacko.
The word is weird, wacko.
You do need to be a little weird, maybe. I don't know. We can't tell people to be weird.
No,
That would be weird.
We're just weird. That's why we're doing this video. All right. So the first W is the word waiting. I think most of us in this space agree that we've once in our life have waited for something. Waited for it to graduate, waiting for a birthday, waiting for Christmas every year, waiting for marriage, waiting for baby, waiting for to get well from cancer, waiting for a loved one to be home, come home. A lot of waiting, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why I'm gonna call for the first W is waiting, because the reality is, believe it or not, it's normal. It's the normal thing is to wait. I don't know how to say this. It's not to rush, not the instant gratification. It's not the quick answer. It's okay to wait. And I know
It's hard to wait,
I know it's hard.
I think.
But if you look back, everything that we've done in my own life, I would say, if I look back, the things I've waited, it's always been good. The things that I rush into it and go for it, or think that I was right and go for plan B instead of plan A. So, I mean, it's a tough one, but I'm challenging y'all to think about it as in relationship, waiting is okay.
I think when you're waiting on something for God to give the right thing, whatever that might be, that when it does come, it really will be worth the wait and not waiting. I just have one quick 2 cents about that. Things can go devastatingly wrong when you try to put things in your own hands. There's a lot of examples in the Bible where people didn't want to wait, and even still things happening to this day from those choices.
Yep.
So we don't want to not wait, because if we honor God the most, we should be okay with the waiting, because He's with us in the waiting.
That's right. So focus on Jesus while waiting, guys.
Yeah.
The second W is the why we talk about this is because we have to be willing. Willing is part of the system that we're in the sense of waiting. We have to be willing to believe, willing to trust, willing to obey, willing to submit, willing to surrender, willing. You can fill in the gap, guys. But it's the willingness of saying, okay, I in a relationship, okay, I'm willing to say I'm sorry. Willingness to admit I'm wrong and go over to that person, for example. Willing to understand that person and say, okay, let's wait. Your plan is better. Or willing to say, hey, you know what I'm saying? What do you think, Cherish?
What was the last thing you were going to say? You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. Well, I do have to say, for willingness, I feel like if you're willing to work through your problems in marriage, that you're better off than most, because in the willingness, there's hope. So I think just to have an open heart and be willing is really important. And I think willing to serve the Lord, and maybe even together, that would be very helpful for your marriage as well, because then you can serve the Lord and have a purpose for both of you in your marriage. And you won't be going opposite directions. So that's my 2 cents about that, I guess.
Yeah, as I'm thinking about listening to you, just look at all the different topics that we just covered from A to V so far. Willing to what? Be accountable. Willing to do budgeting. Willing to communicate, and so forth.
Oh, willing to be humble. That would be so good because, in a marriage, you might feel like you're right. They might feel like they're right. But who's willing to humbly be a servant and listen, or even for the sake of the relationship, not argue about it, just to be right, whatever that is. But just willing to be humble, so important in any relationship. Humility.
Big time.
Yeah.
So while we're waiting, we're willing to do whatever, fill in blank, okay? It's a sacrificial part of us. It starts with the person, not pointing the person. Are you willing to change?
Or are you willing to give up something
Yeah.
for the other person because for the sake of that relationship? What's worth it? Giving up something you like, or some time towards something, or willing to spend more time with your spouse?
Well, God is willing. That's a perfect example. God's willing. He initiated his love. He sent his son Jesus, and he's willing. He's desiring a relationship with us. And with that example, we should follow God and say, okay, I'm willing, whatever it is. And therefore, the third W is not to worry. We worry a lot. We worry, we fear, we're afraid. I heard this before, and I've heard this before. There is 365 references about fear, afraid, worry. 365 times in the Bible. What does that mean? That means God knows that we worry a lot. Every day maybe. But
He's telling us not to worry.
to worry.
So if God, who holds everything in his hands, not worrying, and he's telling you not to worry, we really don't have to worry.
So that's our encouragement. As you're waiting, whatever you're waiting, be willing to trust God and don't worry.
We watched this movie last night. It's called Beetlejuice. It's
Oh
an
my
old
goodness.
1980s movie.
Why?
Well, I had forgotten all about it and what was happening, but the couple actually died. And so his wife was worrying about cleaning the house. And he's like, why are you even worried about it? We're dead. We don't have to worry that much anymore about anything. And so it was just a different perspective. So just saying perspective and worry is very important, because what's most important while we're living, we have our relationships. Is it that important to worry about it? Is it robbing your time? Oh, no.
Wow. There you go. Some topics to cover. W is today's word. Letter. And
we hope it goes well with you, whatever you do today in your marriage, in your day. And we just pray that God's first always.
Yes, always.
Everything else comes.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yes, have a great day. Bye.